This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. So last night, the Duke of Sedition stepped out onto the red carpet in New York City in a surprise appearance to attend Time 100's most influential people in sports event. The Prince of England walked the red carpet in New York City without his wife, Meghan Markle. So, still playing the I'm a celebrity game, Harry gave a toast at Time's event created to honor influential athletes, coaches, advocates, and investors in sports. During Harry's speech, Harry said that attending the 2013 Warrior Games in Colorado Springs served as inspiration to create the Invictus Games competition, which will be held in Birmingham, England next year. So while ABC News was busy covering this fool at Time 100, the United States President, Donald Trump, made a historic address to the nation, dropping a bombshell that China, amongst other foreign nations, had interfered with the 2020 election. We all know why outlets like ABC, NBC, and CBS chose not to air this presidential address. And we'll get into that a little bit later on, because it's all tied together. Daily Mail journalist Alison Boshoff is back again doing the dirty work for the palace with this new headline exclusive. Harry never wanted to be estranged, but he was madly in love. Now the veil is lifting. Inside plan to reverse Megxit as friends tell Alison Boshoff about communication between Harry and William and why the Sussexes' American dream is over. How many times did I tell you guys that they were going to start to bring William into this? And didn't I say I wouldn't be surprised if Harry and William were speaking this whole time? I need to go ahead and read you this article because I want you to see how the palace is controlling the narrative and steering the public in a direction away from all this other stuff that now has exploded yesterday as a result of Donald Trump releasing these classified files, which we'll get into, believe you me, because the connections back to this idiot don't look good. I almost feel like starting this article with once upon a time. Anyhow, the drama before the low-key family meeting was quite the media whirlwind. But since Prince Harry, his wife Meghan, and their children, Archie Markle and little Betty Markle, met the king and queen for tea at Highgrove last Friday, all has been silent. Just as I revealed in these pages 3 weeks ago, the conditions of the reconciliation were that there were to be no cameras in the room, no briefings, and no Instagram posts about jam or anything else. So they really want us to believe that after almost 10 years, Meghan Markle all of a sudden now is just going to listen to what she's being told to do? Come on. As a friend of his says, Harry was never going to let the kids down. They were so invested in the trip. They FaceTime with Charles all the time. So they already have a relationship, but they were so excited to finally come. It was their first proper chance to meet. Meghan had not visited the UK since the Queen's funeral in September 2022. The children, meanwhile, had not been in the UK since the Platinum Jubilee in June that year. I call bullshit on that. Queen Camilla, described by Harry as dangerous and a villain who left bodies in the street in a televised interview to promote Spare just 3 years ago, sat out his previous meeting with the king in February 2024. This time, significantly, she was also there. So again, more bullshit. On one hand, we're being told that Charles did meet his grandkids back in 2022 when the kids went over to the Jubilee, which there is no evidence that they were over there. And now this journalist is saying that this tea is really the first proper chance that Charles met these two kids. And now this journalist wants us to believe that, Charles already has a relationship with these kids because he FaceTimes with them all the time. Really? Anyhow. However, this week People magazine, long understood to be the unofficial Sussex mouthpiece, reported that there was actually a lot of sadness over how the week unfolded. Meghan was upset not to be able to be by her husband's side in public, and the fact that the chaos over their security arrangements was hashed out in public left her feeling humiliated. But in the end, the most important objective was achieved, and those close to Prince Harry say that this significant step towards making peace with his father was actually all that mattered. He was said to feel energized after the meeting and certainly was in high spirits the following day, fooling around with water bombs and goat yoga at Maxstowe Castle for the Scottish Little Soldiers charity, which supports bereaved military children. But then I can reveal what was at stake was more than simply a grandfather who has not been in the best of health, spending time with his grandchildren, or even healing the wounds caused by Oprah, Spare, Harry and Meghan on Netflix, the court actions against the Home Office, and all the rest of it. The Sussexes are seeking to reverse Megxit. Now, put this into context to what Donald Trump revealed yesterday about foreign interference in the 2020 election. You betcha they want to reverse Megxit, and Harry wants to hightail it back home. And this controlled palace reporter is setting that stage. Alison Boshoff continues. It seems that a return to the UK is being contemplated in some form, and that the couple's holiday home in Portugal will be used as a staging post back to Britain. I'm told there are two key reasons for this. A friend of Prince Harry says, there is definitely a feeling in his camp that he has started to feel a bit unwelcome in America. What makes you think that? That has been an increasing and significant shift in sentiment, a feeling that the American dream might not be all that it was cracked up to be. I am told that this is coming from Meghan as well as from him. I hear that Meghan is all for rekindling with and reconnecting with Harry's English side. She is fully behind it. Now, if you've been following me for the last several years, you will agree that this is all so convenient. How can anyone not see that this was a black operation and we were played for fools? Their dwindling star power and the end of their deals with Spotify and Netflix must surely play a part, as must Meghan's fading popularity among the supporters, like Ted Sarandos of Netflix, who had previously been her cheerleaders. The source adds, England is where Harry's heart has always lain. It is no secret that they went to the States to try and seek their fortune, to try to capitalize on his fame and his royalty to some degree. They've had successes. A $100 million Netflix deal is not nothing. But that American dream is cooling, and she feels an outcast status as well. You see, if Donald Trump didn't get into office, I would bet that Netflix would continue their agreement with Harry and Meghan, because it's likely that $100 million, where it was coming from, was probably from USAID. Anyway, she feels like she is trying to push fresh thoughts and projects, but it's not easy. So maybe enough water has now passed under the bridge here for some form of a return. So this is what I hate about these propagandists. They write these articles ignoring the public sentiment, almost making you feel somewhat crazy for thinking that Harry and Meghan deserve some sort of accountability. Not once have this couple apologized or acknowledged that they were in the wrong in so many instances with their contradictions and their lies. And here you have these journalists writing and scripting the narrative to direct the public in the direction that they want. Alison Boshoff continues, that's not a permanent or imminent return, but to hear it being mooted still feels like a bombshell. Another source, who is less sympathetic to the Sussexes, says that they suspect a different kind of cooling may lie behind the maneuvers. Yeah, like election interference, knowing about J6, censoring Americans. I can go on because the list is long and I believe that it's all catching up to them. Anyway, the source said, I don't think he's ever wanted to be estranged from his family. I think when he was madly in love with Meghan, he could be blind enough to choose her. Now things are different, and the veil is lifting. No, it's because the mission failed. Period. This next part tells us everything we need to know. Prince Harry still sees himself as a working royal, but there's a growing acceptance by the palace that he and Meghan will have to be busy commercially if they are to fund their expensive life and expensive private security in Montecito. The couple want to carry on making money in the U.S. and elsewhere, but to be treated as working royals when in the UK. The situation now is that Harry earns money from sustainable travel company Travelus and business coaching from BetterUp, and is trying to make money from the Archwell production company, while Meghan has her lifestyle company As Ever and gets commission from plugging outfits she has worn on an e-commerce platform. But Harry is also undertaking charity work with his patronages on UK soil and being welcomed by the king in his home. What happened to Archwell Fugazi Public Charity, otherwise known now as Archwell Fugazi Philanthropies? You notice how that was conveniently omitted from this description of what Harry and Meghan have been doing? As if Archwell Fugazi Public Charity never existed? Do you see how selective they are in choosing what they talk about? They don't talk about any of the political stuff that these two had been deeply involved with during the Biden regime. So now that Harry has been welcomed by the king in his home, all of a sudden now it's a short hop from that reality to Harry and his family staying in a royal palace when he is next in the UK. And if that protocol is established, which Harry apparently feels sure can happen next time, then he looks as half in and half out, precisely what the late queen barred the couple from doing, as you can imagine. Well, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think there ever was any kind of Sandringham agreement here. This ginger asshole never left the firm. Harry was here covertly undermining this country. What we do know is that Harry will be back in September for another charity event. There is an expectation that there will be another meeting with the king, and that he will accept an offer to stay at Buckingham Palace in good time this time. So they emphasize here on this visit, he declared that he had accepted the offer to stay at Buckingham Palace, but it then transpired that he had left it too late and the offer had been withdrawn because it didn't give staff enough notice. I call bullshit. I'm willing to bet that Harry was on palace grounds somewhere, but we would never know because they tell us what they want us to know. Next summer, he will be in Birmingham for all 10 days of the Invictus Games, and the plan is that Meghan will come with him for the whole thing. If she's in the UK, then they will want to bring the children too, says the friend. If it is possible, I'm told he would like the children to see what he does and experience some of the atmosphere of the games, which are very close to his heart. Where might they stay? Highgrove would make perfect sense geographically. The view from the palace side, as told to the Sunday Times, was that the king will never shut the door on the possibility of spending time with his family because despite all the trouble, blood is blood. What did I tell you, folks? Crucially, this traveling to the UK is going to be made easier by the Sussexes' purchase of a home in Portugal. Yeah, is that where they sunk in all that USAID money? So in the event that the United States needs to freeze assets here in the US, it's all transferred over into art as well as property and real estate? Sounds like it. As revealed in October 2024 by Richard Eden in his newspaper, the home on a private estate in Aleteo is near to one owned by Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank. A source says they had a house built in Portugal for the kids to be close to their royal side in case they want to participate. It's in a private part. I'm not sure it's finished yet. Meghan was having Soho House decorated. Harry's friend says the house in Portugal is a foot on the right side of the pond, and I believe that they spent time there after being in the UK last week and before it as well. It's striking distance for them to get to London. Harry has no desire to be Eurotrash. He is proudly British and English and wants to be in England, but Portugal could be a kind of a stepping stone for a couple of years. So Harry doesn't want to be seen as Eurotrash, but does he not realize that the woman that he married has downgraded him to trailer park trash? The issue which vexed last week's visit was security. Harry felt that the provision unchanged for the past 5 years wasn't good enough. He wanted Ravek, the Home Office Committee, to reassess the security he and his family were given, and he wanted his own private security to receive intelligence from the security services. Let me read that again. He wanted his own private security, aka Obama's former Secret Service, to receive intelligence from the security services. According to briefings from Team Sussex, he believed this was going to happen, but then, after announcing that he, Meghan, and the children were coming to the UK together, it became apparent that the security situation was unchanged. Within 24 hours, his PR team said that an upset prince had to reconsider everything in the light of their safety. A few days on, a briefing document from his security team, which said there were a number of credible terrorist threats to his safety, somehow magically found its way to ITN News to add to the pressure. Still, nothing changed. Now, what I believe is going on here, the story that we were all told about security and Harry not feeling safe is bullshit. I believe that this is for IPP status, and I believe that it's for Meghan, not so much Harry. I think Harry does have it, but Meghan doesn't. Meghan didn't go to the Invictus 1 Year to Go event, nor was she at his side for any public engagements. It felt like an ugly stalemate. No, actually, it was a blessing to the public because nobody wanted to see her. Nobody cares about her. Now listen closely to this next paragraph. But she and the children still traveled privately to Highgrove and are thought to have then gone on to Althorpe to be hosted by Harry's uncle, Earl Spencer, and pay a visit to his mother's grave on the estate. I can't believe they're forcing this garbage down our throats. There's no evidence that Meghan was in the UK, let alone with 2 phantom children, right? A friend says that despite appearances and without going into operational details, security actually was improved this time for the visit. He would have liked full security from the start, but that was not on the table. But what was on the table was a considerable upping of what was there previously. For that reason, the visit was very much better and everything is in a better place. It's still baby steps, but there is reason to hope going forward. So now here's what I think. Harry never left the firm, and he never lost his security in the sense of people watching over him. But he did lose that access to intelligence as well as the immunity card. That's what he's desperately trying to get back. The prince apparently believes his security will continue to improve, and after the shocking murder of former MP Anne Widdecombe, that seems to be a fair assumption. And I figured that they were going to slip that in there and use that to their advantage because Ravak had to look at Nigel Farage and Reform MPs to see if their security was adequate with the uptick in political terrorism. There's no prospect of any further legal action from him against the Home Office. That legal action, which had put his father in such a difficult position because he would not and could not intervene, and which Harry lost on appeal last May. Indeed, I am told, there are no more fights to come. That era has closed. Well, because Harry is going to be going back. The colossal defeat against Associated Newspapers, the publishers of the Daily Mail, over wild allegations of bugging and hacking will, according to friends, be the very last time the prince comes to court. That's it now. He is putting down his fists, says the friend. The loss was absolutely a no-go area for discussion during his visit. There's no prospect of any further legal action from him against the Home Office. That legal action, which had put his father in such a difficult position because he would not and could not intervene, and which Harry lost on appeal last May. Indeed, I am told, there are no more fights to come. That era has closed. Well, because Harry is going to be going back. The colossal defeat against Associated Newspapers, the publishers of the Daily Mail, over wild allegations of bugging and hacking will, according to friends, be the very last time the prince comes to court. That's it now. He is putting down his fists, says the friend. The loss was absolutely a no-go area for discussion during his visit. The judgment was handed down on Tuesday last week as Harry prepared to give a speech. A friend says he is deeply disappointed, but also somewhat embarrassed. He ended up with significant egg on his face. The CG revelations, the release of a host of friendly messages in court between him and Mail on Sunday journalist Charlotte Griffiths, was a very embarrassing moment for him. The follow-up piece in the Daily Mail last week by Charlotte detailing their friendship was mortifying too. It was a disaster which didn't need to happen. He is shutting up about it. Silence. Silence. Silence now. First, though, he released an intemperate statement attacking the High Court judge, Justice Nicklin, and saying the judgment was an obvious whitewash. According to a well-sourced report in the Sunday Times last weekend, it caused astonishment in palace circles. There were jaws on the floor with the statement attacking not just the High Court judge, but the entire judicial system that acts in the king's name. Clutching pearls right now. There is profound upset constitutionally about that attack, a source said. However, if he chooses to move on and be silent, there can surely only be relief for the palace. You see, if Harry truly left the institution, why would the palace even care about what this fool was doing? Let him make his own bed and lie in it. What does that have to do with the institution if they really did leave? Now, the ending of this write-up by Alison Boshoff is what everybody needs to be concerned about. It says, what remains unresolved is the schism between Harry and his brother Prince William, the heir to his spare. Friends of Harry claim the two men do communicate. Let me read that again. Friends of Harry claim the two men do communicate and say, it would have been the most amazing signal to everybody if William had managed to be at Highgrove. That seems the faintest of prospects, but Harry must be serious indeed about reconciliation to even talk about aiming for this outcome. As one Sussex source observes, everyone knows their future is not in his dad's hands, it's in his brother's. Now, what did I tell everybody we were going to start to see happening? We were going to start to see these little seeds about this reconciliation now with the brothers. When you fully understand and you see what exactly this was with Harry and Meghan, then all of this other stuff becomes predictable. So wait for it. September, Harry's supposed to be back in the UK. We're going to start to see articles coming out about Harry desperately wanting to make up with his brother because life's short, or maybe even King Charles nudging, the headlines with King Charles nudging Catherine or William to spend 15 minutes with Harry because he's really sorry and he's changed, blah, blah, blah. And then come Christmas time, Harry gets an invite to Sandringham, and the brothers finally sit face to face. And, it's a first step. And then slowly we hear more stories about how, William has forgiven him, but he hasn't forgotten. And then, boom, Invictus 2027. What better way to show that all is good in the world with Prince William now showing up for the Invictus Games with Harry. It's not going to be the king. I don't predict it will be the king. I predict it will be Prince William, standing by his brother's side and supporting him. And all of the news articles will switch their tune from Harry being the founder to now Harry founding this with his brother, Prince William. And I say this, if indeed nothing happens to this fool and they have to bring him back because the United States quietly told this motherfucker that he needs to leave because of his involvement with all this other shit that was exposed yesterday. And that we're going to get into in my next video. So make sure you like this video and double check to make sure that you are subscribed, because that's the video you're not going to want to miss, because it all connects together. Wait till you see what I uncovered. It's not looking good for the royal family right now. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
It was such a fraud.